Okay, we got a game against Love from Elite Legends. I'm gonna lead off with Scissor, because Scissor can pretty much beat everyone on his team, because Heracross won't have the burn from Flame Up on the first turn. Azumarill gets forced out. Alakazam cannot knock me out unless he has Hidden Power Fire. And Tyranitar obviously loses to me, so the worst thing he could have done was lead off with Zapdos. But he leads off with Tyranitar, and I get the free U-turn off. I don't have the balls here to press knockoff, because he might be Focus Sash because he's leading off with Tyranitar. And Focus Sash with Fire Blast or Fire Fang could be really bad for my Scissor. Because Scissor is going to be important, but yeah, he does bring in the Zapdos. And I get a nice amount of damage off on Zapdos, and now I can bring in my Chansey, getting up the Stealth Rocks. His leftovers recovery also gets negated by his own Sandstorm, which is great, because it's really nice having damage on Zapdos. Because usually when you can take this out, it will really open up the game for you. But he actually decides to go for Rooster, so he really wanted to be at full HP, and now I'm gonna press Toxic. He might switch out here, bringing in Tyranitar, Azumarill, or Heracross, as he actually U-turns. So let's see what he brings in. He does bring in the Heracross, but I get this Heracross poisoned instead of burned. So I actually like this much better, because now Heracross cannot really stay in for a longer period of times. But now I may have to make a difficult choice. Let's sack Marowak here, because he still has Azumarill, he has Alakazam, he has Tyranitar, which might be faster. So I think Marowak is the most expendable member, and look at how much health this Heracross lost. What I'm gonna do now, I think I'll just go Scissor and U-turn, because I do not want to bring in Porygon and bring in Porygon Z and him bringing in his Tyranitar on it. But he might be fearing the Bullet Punch, and he really needs his Heracross. So I don't think he's prepared to sack his Heracross to a potential Bullet Punch. So I can use this opportunity to U-turn, as he does bring in the Zapdos. So he takes Stealth Rocks damage, and he takes my U-turn damage, which is great. And now I think I'll just bring him a Porygon Z, because I want to force this out. Because if I force it out right now, he takes Stealth Rocks damage, and Mew can knock it out with Ice Beam, Garchomp can knock it out with Dragon Claw, Scissor can knock it out with Knockoff, and Blissey can poison it. Chansey can poison it. So I'll just click Ice Beam, and even though he can bring in his Tyranitar right now, Tyranitar will still take a lot of damage because Stealth Rocks are up. And I'm at +2 here, so let's see. He does bring in the Tyranitar, and he takes Stealth Rocks damage, and let's see how much his Ice Beam does. Ice Beam does around 44%, and he gets frozen. I don't know if that freeze will matter. This Ice Beam might be a roll, so let's see if we can knock it out right there. There's really no point in calking this for me, because I have to press Ice Beam here. Because if I switch as he pursues, that could be really bad if he thaws out. At least I'll be getting rid of this Tyranitar. Even though my Scissor and Garchomp can deal with it, it's still nice to knock this out, because that's a potential Stealth Rocker gone. Because looking at his team, I think his Tyranitar was his Stealth Rocker. He also led off with Tyranitar. So if we can knock this out, then we don't have to worry about Stealth Rocks. It does 42%, so that freeze didn't matter, man. I feel really bad about this. But yeah, there's no point in switching out here. But I'll click Ice Beam, knock something out. He does sack the Tyranitar. And he cannot bring in his Zapdos, so he has to bring in his Alakazam, which is the only Pokemon that is fast. Well, he could bring in his Azumarill, and if he does bring in Azumarill, I am going to stay in and go for Ice Beam, because if he belly drums up, it could be really bad. And if he goes Alakazam, I still have my Chansey in the back. So he does go Alakazam. And he might make a double switch here, but I think it's still worth to go Chansey anyway. Because if he doubles into Heracross, Heracross will still take the Sandstorm damage and the Stealth Rocks damage. He actually goes for Psychic. And now I'm pressing Seismic Toes. Because if Heracross comes in, Heracross will take a lot of damage. And it's also a nice chip damage on Azumarill if Azumarill comes in. So let's see, he does bring in the Heracross, so we get a nice amount of damage off on this guy. Stealth Rocks, Seismic Toes, and Toxic. Unfortunately, the Sandstorm did subside, so he is able to live one more hit. And now I have to make a choice. Looking at his team though, I think Mew is the most expendable member because his Tyranitar is already gone. I still have my Scizor to check the Azumarill. I think my Garchomp could also live a +6 Aqua Jet if he needs to. He's still at full HP. But this Heracross has one more attack left in him. So if I go Mew for the close combat, he will die to his poison. But if he goes for knockoff, Facade might not knock me out. He really has to press Facade, I think. But I do not want to bring in my Scizor against this because I need my Scizor to win. I'm just gonna stay in with Chansey. And perhaps he doesn't click close combat, fearing my Mew to come in. He might press knockoff fearing my Mew anyway, because Mew will also live a Facade. So I'm just gonna Seismic Toes here. Actually, I should have soft boiled up. That was a really big misplay because he died to poison. What am I thinking, guys? What am I thinking? Oh, I could have been healthy here. That was a big misplay. I hope it doesn't cost me the game. Still, I think my Scizor is gonna do a lot. Because if he goes Zapdos here, I'm just pressing Toxic straight away. If he goes Azumarill, I'm pressing Seismic Toes. And his Alakazam showed Psychic, guys. So he might not have Side Shock, which means my chance he might still live a hit from Alakazam if he doesn't press Focus Blast. But he just goes into Azumarill. I'm just gonna go for Seismic Toes in case he does go for the Belly Drum. But he just goes for Waterfall. I don't know if it's banded. Can't judge from the damage there. But it doesn't matter. We get to bring in Porygon Z. And he doesn't have Tyranitar anymore, so I get to press the free Tri Attack and kill something. Even if his Tangrowth is Assault Vest, Stealth Rocks are up, so Tri Attack is at +2. And I really think that Tangrowth will get 2-hit KO'd by Tri Attack after Stealth Rocks damage. But me being at +2, because I got the special attack boost from this Azumarill. If he stays in with Azumarill, Azumarill will die, because after Stealth Rocks, Tri Attack with +2 is a guaranteed KO. And he actually decides to sack Zapdos. And I really like this, because now he cannot remove the Stealth Rocks. But yeah, Alakazam is gonna come in. And at this point, on the previous turn, I was prepared to sack my Mew, but I chose to stay in with Chansey. So if I have to sack anything now, I might as well sack Mew now. Because Garchomp can still Earthquake, and he's Choice Scarf, so he can still check the Alakazam. Scizor can check Alakazam. Scizor can U-turn on Tangrowth, and Scizor can also check Azumarill. I think Mew is the most expendable member, because once Alakazam goes down, my Porygon Z can actually do a lot, but his Shadow Ball does not do more than 50%, so I think this might be Focus Sash, so I'm gonna go for the Ice Beam, breaking a potential Focus Sash right there. Because if it was life orbed, I'm pretty sure Shadow Ball should have 2-hit KO'd me, because my Mew is a physical defensive Mew. It has no special defensive bulk. So if he was life orbed, you really should have done more damage. But yeah, here I have broken a potential Focus Sash. And now I can just sack my Mew. And because he doesn't have a life orb, there's no way that his Focus Blast is gonna knock me out. I don't think he has Hidden Power Fire. If he has, I'm gonna cry. But I'll just press U-turn here, and something will die as he does go for Focus Blast, and yeah, it doesn't knock me out. He goes down, and Porygon beats all of both of them. But if I bring in Porygon right now, he doesn't get a stat boost because there's no Pokemon in front of me. So I'll go Garchomp. This way I at least ensure that I will get a stat boost with Porygon Z the next time I bring it in. And if he goes Azumarill, I'll just press Earthquake. And if he goes Tangrowth, I'm gonna press Fire Blast. And by doing this, I get to see if this Tangrowth is Assault Vest or not. And it does 55%, which means this is not an Assault Vested Tangrowth. It's a defensive Tangrowth. So what I can do now actually is I can go into my Scizor. Because I don't think it's running Hidden Power Fire, and if it has Hidden Power Fire... Wait, he just used Hidden Power Ice, what am I thinking? So he has nothing to kill my Scizor. And he was expecting another Fire Blast, trying to predict that. So I make the correct play here. Now I can press Bullet Punch. Actually, let's press Knock Off, because I'm still not sure if it's Belly Drum or Choice Bandit. At least I'll be... Because if it's Choice Bandit, it's not Belly Drum. So he does go for Waterfall, and we knock out the Choice Band, which means his Aqua Jet can never knock out my Porygon Z. So what I can do here is just press Tri Attack. Even if he crits me with Aqua Jet right now, he cannot knock me out. He doesn't have the Choice Band. 39, yeah. Azumarill goes down. And all he has left is his Tangrowth, which is physical defensive, so I can also knock this thing out with Tri Attack. And that was a really fun game. A lot of pressure from that Heracross though. And the Alakazam as well, because I made a big misplay by not soft boiling up against the Heracross when it died to poison. But that was pretty much the game, so I hope you guys did like that battle. If you did, please hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below. Just say something